This is the Marty Ray Project Chats, and I'm Marty Ray, one of the hosts of this podcast. You might know me from a beard video, a prank call, a rap song turned acoustic cover, or hopefully one of my original albums.
And I'm Chris Wallins. You might know me from, where would they know me from again?
You might know Chris from number one hit songs like Don't Blink by Kenny Chesney and Something to Be Proud of by Montgomery Gentry. Whether you know either one of us or not, I bet you're going to have fun here. Welcome to the project. Download, subscribe, and rate, whether you love it or not. Sound supplied by Rodecaster Pro. I used to wear this man's t-shirts when I was a teenager. He's one of my favorite wrestlers with the coolest name of all time. He's a 3-time WCW World Heavyweight Champ, a 2-time WCW US Champ, and a 4-time WCW Tag Team Champion. I used to stand up with my hands up when he would make his entrance and scream bang while the fireworks went off to the top of my lungs. Now he's a legendary fitness instructor. It's going to help me finally get this fat off my body for good with his DDP Yoga Now app. It's Diamond Dallas Page, baby. It's an honor to talk to you. I did a nice little intro for you. I was going to let you hear. I'm the bearded guy, but we couldn't get the video to work. I don't know why, but I apologize about that.
No worries. Yeah.
I feel bad I can't sit here and look at you. But you know what? We got the frozen. Go ahead.
I was looking at you.
Ain't I sexy?
Yeah, baby.
So we start every show with a fast 5 questions, and we just want fast 5 answers.
Go for it.
You ready?
Sure.
Favorite wrestler beside yourself?
Jake Snake Roberts.
Oh, that's a good one. Favorite car or truck?
62 pink Cadillac.
What was that year?
62 pink Cadillac convertible.
62.
You're talking about car I owned. Did you say car that I owned?
No.
Right?
Favorite car or truck ever in the world?
Well, then it would be a 59 red Cadillac, red on black.
You're a Cadillac man. I'm a Cadillac man. I like that. I knew we were kindred.
I like them.
Cats, dogs, or other?
Dogs.
Nice. Favorite film or TV show?
I got to give you 2 of them. Tombstone and It's a Wonderful Life.
Ooh, I love both of those.
Tombstone is definitely my favorite movie, probably of all time.
Definitely.
Yeah, I got to hang with the guy who played God, now I can't think of his damn name.
Doc Holliday?
No, Doc. I got to be with Doc Holliday and Val Kilmer, and I love him in that role. How he didn't win the Oscar, mind blowing to me. But when I met him, you guys say sometimes you can't meet you guys you really like, because he was a weirdo. He was a fucking weirdo. Johnny Ringo. That's who I got to hang with. Johnny Ringo.
Oh, wow.
That whole banter between those two guys, Money and Kurt, and that was, to me, that's one of the best movies. I just sit there and recite lines as they're reciting them.
Oh, man.
That's one of the greatest quotes ever.
I'm your Huckleberry.
I'm your Huckleberry. I'll fuck the blood.
Why, Johnny Ringo.
Mad Dog.
Oh, my God.
Last one, UFC or boxing?
UFC.
Nice. Good call. All right, so as I said in the intro, you didn't hear it, but it was very special, and it was really
intimate.
It was very intimate interview. I mean, a very intimate intro. I said that I'm a huge fan, always was, and growing up, I had your T-shirts. Like, I would wear your T-shirts, and I would stand up in my living room when you would make your entrance, and I would have the diamond sign up with my hands, and I would scream bang when the fireworks went off. So just wanted to let you know you're not talking to somebody who don't know who Diamond Dallas Page is.
Damn, brother, I appreciate the outlay of the investment on the T-shirt.
I don't know how much you get from that, but probably not much with WWC,
let me tell you,
WCW.
I'll give you a little story about that. I was stone cold when my boy, we were best friends coming up through WCW, and we're still today as close as ever. But there was a time when he got red hot in WWF at the time, and he had the red carpet to come to WCW if he wanted to come back. And so he knew it's always great when you can play Coke against Pepsi. And Vince, if he didn't have Steve, they'd have got their ass whooped. Like, that'd have been it. And Steve, of course, Stephen McMahon, their stuff is legendary, and this is amazing. But my point is that Steve made the greatest deal ever back then. I think he did a deal where he didn't, because Vince couldn't offer him any more money because he didn't want to have any, he didn't want to pin himself into guarantees. So Steve got like, I don't know, something ridiculous like 50%. Whatever, I can't remember what the number was, but he got a lot of money. He got a lot of his T-shirts. And then he came out with a 316 T-shirt.
Yep, I had a rattlesnake T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that 316 T-shirt, bro, is still selling.
I guarantee you.
And he's done pretty. He's done. That's a guy that has done amazing, and whatever he does turns to gold because he puts the work in.
Yeah, he was definitely the only reason that I started watching WWF again after WCW Nitro took off. Nitro just really was the most exciting one out of all of them until Stone Cold showed up.
Yeah, man, we were killing them at that time.
Sure enough. Was Eric Bischoff good to work for? Or?
Yes, he was. Because there was a lot of a lot of people had busted his chops a lot, but I'll give you an example. Eddie Guerrero. Now Eddie's contract's up, and I don't know if he's going to negotiate and stay or leave. But the bottom line is he got in a really bad car accident. And now his contract, he ain't going to wrestle for a year. And Bischoff just let that contract roll over and kept paying him. Bischoff, I'll give you a great story about Bischoff. I met him in the AWA, and I was a manager. He was a producer. And back then he had long hair down to his shoulders. His hair's been gray since he was 22. So he was gray hair down to his shoulders, leather jacket, biker jacket, fancy himself as a badass. He's a third-degree black belt. And we're all drunk. And I was doing the search for the Diamond Doll back when I was managing in the AWA. This is 1988, maybe 89. Pretty sure it's 88. And we got into an altercation where, I was talking to my buddy Pat, let's blow out of here. And he got uppity because he was talking to Pat. And next thing you know, it's a pull-apart fight between me and Bischoff. They get me out of there because he's office. I'm not office. I'm nobody. I'm at the bottom of the pit. And we go out. I've been in the bar business my whole life. I've been running nightclubs at this point for up on 7 years.
I didn't know that either, man. Me and you've known each other for a while now, and I've been reading up on you for this thing, and I'm like, golly, I had no idea that you were a club owner.
Yeah, well, I owned a small piece, but I was running clubs since I was 23. And now I'm 31 when this all goes down. And what happened is we go catch breakfast, my buzz comes way down, friggin', 2 hours later, we're getting off the elevator, me and Pat and Paul, the guys I'm managing, and we're all bros, and Bischoff gets off the elevator right across from us, his wife and 3 guys from the office. And they're like, dude, go to your room. Just go to your room. So I start walking, and he starts talking. And it starts up again. And they're like, dude, go to your room. Go, yeah, come on, let that motherfucker come on. Like, he's shit-faced. And when he starts drinking shots, he's 10 foot tall and bulletproof, you know?
Right.
And, I went to my room. I took the higher road. But at 8 o'clock in the morning, man, I woke up like, bing. And I had a flight to catch, but it wasn't until 11. So I was getting up early, and I'm going to go down and see how tough this sumbitch is right now. So I got my shirt, like put my jeans on, my boots, and I'm putting on my T-shirt and walking to the door, and I hear, now I think it's, the cleaning lady, and I open it up, and it's him. And he's wearing his leather jacket, and he looks like he's been rode hard and put away wet. I mean, he's looking sloppy. And before I can say anything, he says, I heard I was a real asshole last night. I said, yeah, you were. I said, as a matter of fact, I was just on my way to see you. And he said, I saved you the walk. He pauses just enough time to get right back on track and says, there's two ways we can handle this. One, accept my apology and shake my hand, and he pulled out his front 3 teeth and he said, punch me in the mouth. Whatever you think is fair, I'm good with.
So how hard did you punch him?
I did. You have to remember, I have thrown 150, 200 people out of clubs by this time.
Right.
And for years, different clubs I'm in, I'm running them. They got to come back to me to try to get mercy and get back in the hottest club that's there. I've heard every excuse you can hear to get back in. I said, dude, I've been running clubs since I was 23. I said, I've heard every excuse you can hear to get back in a club. I said, I have never heard that come back ever. I said, dude, I'd much rather shake your hand. I go, that's a class act. We shook hands, and the AWA goes away for me at that point because they couldn't afford anything. I'm working in Florida Championship Wrestling. I get tight as hell with Dusty. Dusty Rhodes becomes my mentor. If you said who's my favorite person of all time in professional wrestling, it'd be Dusty Rhodes. Because without Dusty Rhodes, there is no Diamond Dallas Page. It was him and Jake were both my mentors. But by this time, I'm in WCW as a manager and a color commentator, and I'm working with a guy named Lance Russell, and he's coming in. He was coming from Memphis, but he was 72, and they wanted someone younger, and he looked unbelievable for 72. But it's the old age thing, and get the old boy out and get the new guy in. So Dusty says to me, "You're trying it out with a guy named Eric Bischoff today. Do you remember him?" I go, "No. Who is he?" He goes, "He worked with you in the AWA." I go, "No, man, that doesn't sound familiar." He goes, "Well, listen, if you like him, help him out." He goes, "If you don't like him, if he's an asshole, just bury him." So I was like, because it wasn't his guy. It was somebody else's guy, and Dusty wanted his own people, But he was willing to take a look at somebody if they had work ethic and heart and the whole deal. And he trusted me. He was, Dusty had 5 friends. When he died, I was on that list. And he called, Cody, his son, called me, and he said, you make sure you tell Dallas, out of those 5 friends, a lot of them were on and off the list. Dallas was never off the list. It was something his son had called me and we talked about. So me and Dusty were super tight.
Wow.
And I went down there, and he's late because of the weather in Atlanta. You know how crazy it is. And we got to go to Columbus. I have to go to Columbus to go to TV because I'm managing the Fabulous Freebirds at that time. And finally, he shows up. Now, remember, the guy I know has long gray hair and a biker dude. He comes in looking like a Ken doll with that short black hair and, handsome son of a bitch, model. But I know him from his eyes, And when he walks through the door, we have no time to talk. So I say to him, I go, dude, hey man, glad you're finally here. We got to get in the booth, and we got to get this out. So I got to get to Columbus. So we had no time to talk about anything. We go right in the booth. We do a run through. The match is like 5 minutes. And I said, how bad do you need this job? He said, truthfully, I need it really bad. He said, my wife's pregnant with our second kid. Vern, working for Vern. They hadn't paid me the last 2 years. I failed up there when I tried out in WWE. I didn't get the gig. I really need it. I said, okay, here's the deal. Dusty said, make sure he does play-by-play. You do the color. Okay? He goes, okay. We start off, we get about a minute in, and he's doing color the whole time. He's not calling the moves. He's not calling the lock up, into a headlock. He's not calling any of that. So I stop and go, stop tape. I go, you don't know how to do play-by-play, do you? He says, truthfully, no, I don't. I say, he goes, but I really need this job. I go, okay, here's the deal. I'm going to tell you what to say right here. Now, collar and elbow lock up, pull into the headlock, throw in the top wrist lock, takes me to the hammerlock, boom, he shoots off, big tackle, he rolls to the floor, and I'll go, oh, that's smart move, getting out of there. And I set it up, and we'd work, and then we'd go to the next spot, then we take it from the beginning, and then we work it all the way through, and I set up everything for him. At the end of it, I go, I think he's ready. Let's go. Let's do this. And he goes, hold on a second. He goes, can I ask you a question? I said, of course. He said, do you remember me? I said, yeah, you're the guy I was got in a fight with in the AWA. He goes, just checking.
Just checking.
I'll tell you this, Eric Bischoff was a genius marketer for sure. But I don't want to talk about Eric the whole show. We only got you till 150, so I want to make sure we mention. Years ago, I'm a heavy guy. You couldn't tell from the image because I just hit it with my beard, but I'm a heavy set fella. And years ago, I saw a video on YouTube, happened on it, and it was a guy that had lost 600 pounds by using your DDP Yoga that you started. And
not 600, not 600 pounds.
I thought that's what the video said. He lost 600 pounds.
No, the most guys ever lost weight, he lost 313 pounds in 17 and a half months. That's a guy named Jared Mullenkoff. I've had guys who were 600
Maybe
pounds
that's what it was.
who have come down into the 300s,
right?
But never. And the reason why big guys can do my stuff is because I keep creating modifications. Like my app today, the DDP Yoga app, which and you guys, when we were talking earlier, you get it. I'm branding everything DDP. Why now? Why? Because I want people to stop calling it just fucking yoga. Because it's not. I didn't develop it for yogis. I developed it for myself to get me back in the ring. Cliff notes, I didn't start wrestling until I was 35. My career took off when I was 40. That was in 96. And literally, I'm talking about October of 96. I beat Eddie Guerrero at Halloween Havoc. And going into November, that's when my career started to take off. By the time 1997 came around, I'm main eventing Feud of the Year with me and Randy Savage. I'm fighting all of the NWO. And my career took off like a rocket. It was insane. I was working 275 days a year in the ring. Now, mind you, I'm going to have to drive 100, 200, 300 plus miles or hop on a plane and fly across the country and drive 100, 200, 300 miles, get to the next town. I always said we were like rock and roll, gladiators. And then Steve Austin put on their truck drivers because we drive ourselves, beating up your body. Not to mention doing Hollywood Squares and the Tonight Show. I think in 97 and 98 together, I may have been home 40 days, maybe. Wow. Because it was, that's what I was here, singers talk about how the road beats them up. What are you doing on the road? You're singing. The road does beat you up, but you ain't bumping for 20 minutes.
when you get there, you're not fighting people to get off the stage.
Y'all haven't been on my tour. Y'all hadn't been on my tour.
but you know what I mean. It's like people can think what they want about professional wrestling, but you can't fake gravity. You can't fake that shit.
That's exactly.
Well, I'll tell you, when I was growing up, I had some buddies that created their own ring because we were so into wrestling, and we would go there and just like we would do the diamond cutter and we would do the stone cold stunner, and then we would, if we were brave enough, we would start doing those somersaults and or the what do they call it, the when you bring the body up,
hurricanranas and hurricanranas, all that crazy flying shit. Today they're doing super hero shit. Like, these guys have no idea, and I mean no idea, how bad they are going to be beaten up. Like, because, it was the luchadors who really took it to it. Rey Mysterio was revolutionary on so many different levels. But these kids today, like watching AEW and some of the stunts that they do, like they're young, so they keep doing them, but they have no idea. When 40 gets there, they are so fucked. I mean, that's the only way I can say it. They're screwed. I'm 64. Did you guys get to see me do the thing in the AEW back in January? Did you guys get a chance to see that?
I didn't even know you were still wrestling, to be honest with you. I hadn't watched wrestling
No, I don't.
in years.
Yeah, I don't wrestle anymore, but Cody Rhodes, Dusty's son, who I've been mentoring since he was 12 years old, because of my affiliation with Dusty, but then it just became about me and Cody, because I came back for both his state championships when he was a junior and a senior in high school. Kid went 48-0 his junior year. His senior year, I'm living in L.A. at the time. His senior year, he lost his 12th match. And I called him up. Here's a kid who's gone, 60-0, in the last 2 years. I call him, hey, and I always called him Young Buck. And that would be crazy because these guys that he's super tight with and help do this, bringing wrestling back to TNT, they're called the Young Bucks. And I'd say, so Young Buck, how you doing, buddy? And I knew he lost, but I didn't want to sell it. And he goes, I lost, Dallas. I fucking lost. And I said, thank God. He's like, what? He's like, why would you say that? I said, Code, do you think you learn anything from winning? Bro, every one of my successes came after many failures. You don't learn from winning. You learn from losing. You learn from falling down. You learn by making mistakes. I said, now here's the deal. If you don't learn from the mistakes, well, then it's Einstein's theory of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I said, but I know you. What did you learn from that match? And we talked about it. I said, now here's the beauty of this. First of all, would you have rather been 44-0, met this kid in the quarterfinals, and he beat you then? He's like, hell no. I go, here's what's happening. This kid thinks he beat you. When you meet him again, you will know exactly how to fix where you failed. Bottom line is, he meets this kid in the finals. He's 47-0, this kid. Cody's 46-1. Cody's 46-1. Now, in Georgia, when you get to the finals, you can have 5 people of your family, just family members, all allowed family down on the mat. And I'm sitting up in the stands with one of my daughters, Brittany. And Cody sees me. He knows I just flew in from L.A. for this match. And he's like, Dad, get Dallas down here. So Grandpa had to move. I walked down there.
Sorry, Grandpa.
And, sorry, Grandpa. I walked down there, and I watched him eat this kid alive. So bottom line is, when he gets this, he made a statement and then where he thought that him and the Young Bucks, these wrestlers, independent wrestlers, this is about 2.5 years ago, that they could draw 10,000 people, and just an independent show. And then a guy named Dave Meltzer, who's a top guy, a reporter in the world of wrestling and UFC and all combat sports. And he said, well, Cody's getting a little ahead of himself. They might be able to draw 4,000 people. So Cody sent back a thing. I'll take that bet, Dave. And it turned into an internet thing. And they ended up getting an arena it's called the Sears Center in Chicago. Chicago is a monster wrestling town. They put tickets on sale. They did a press conference. They held, the goal was to get 4,000 people the first day. That's the goal. They left the press conference. They drove 35 minutes to the arena, and the building sold out in 29 minutes.
Wow.
11,000 plus people. Today, now they have AEW, All Elite Wrestling, on TNT, and Cody and the Young Bucks and a guy named Kenny Omega are responsible for it. And a guy named Tony Khan, who owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, he owns it and runs it. He's like the Vince McMahon. And I became a part of just showing up for Cody. Hit a diamond cutter here, did something there, all easy stuff. And then he asked me come just past Christmas, would I be willing to do a 6-man tag? I'm like, oh, Cody, I don't know, man. I feel so good. I'm going to be 64 in April. I'm like, I don't want to tear my ACL or break my neck or do something stupid.
Right.
Do I think I could do it? Yes, I do, but I don't know. And we talked about it, and it all comes down. I'm about to release another documentary. Have you guys ever seen The Resurrection of Jake the Snake?
Yep.
Yes, I actually saw it at your premiere in Nashville.
Oh, right, Nashville.
It was amazing. Yeah. Oh my gosh,
yeah, it was powerful. Anybody who wants to see it, just go on Amazon Prime. It's up there. If you got Amazon Prime, you can see it for free. But it's fine. We've got, when we were on Netflix, we were the 3rd highest rated documentary. If it would have been, and we released that in 2014, if it would have been, it's about 3 wrestlers, but it really has nothing to do with wrestling, right, Chris?
Right, exactly.
It's about addiction, because it's dark, but it's also about friendship.
Camaraderie, yeah.
Loving each other, and helping each other. And, it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry. Most of all, it'll inspire you. And that was our first documentary that my company called Comeback Studios did. Well, we're about to release the next one, which is called Relentless. And it goes from where I was talking before. And by the way, guys, I just found out I got another 20 minutes on that, so we're good to go.
Okay, good.
What happened is in 99, I ruptured my L4 and L5. And what that means, God gave us this incredible spine, right? And the vertebrae. And in between the vertebrae, which makes it so incredible, there's these shock absorbers. They're called discs. Mm-hmm. Now, you only get so many tackles. You only get so many falling, to the ground. You only get so many, motorcycle falls. You can only there's only so many bumps, as I say, that you get, and then you start blowing shit out. So just if you were to take a jelly donut and step on it, that's what it's like when you rupture a disc.
Yeah, I had that too. Yeah.
Right. So, and if you're 6'4" plus like I am, well, now you're right under 6'4", because you just lost that height of that disc.
Right.
So
that's the way I eat my donuts. Actually, I walk on them like that, and then I eat them. So I know exactly what you mean.
Now, DDP, you were in when you were a kid. Now you were in a big car accident when you were a kid. And you blew out your knee, didn't you?
what happened is I walked right out in front of the car like an idiot, and it hit my right knee. My face bounced off the hood, and I flew like 42 feet from the point of impact.
Wow.
And they thought I was dead.
Oh my God.
My buddy Stan Yoshis, he watched me fly through the air like Superman, you know. And when I landed, I looked like The Exorcist. My nose was plastered, and all my face all black and blue, and my right knee had took a brunt of the damage, and they wouldn't let me play. I mean, I was in my mind, everything I've ever said I'm going to do, I've done, like everything. If it's not exactly, it's close. A lot of times, I've shot right way past it, like way past it. So in my mind, when I was 12 years old, I was going to be playing, defensive end for the Dallas Cowboys or New York Giants, because that was my dad's team, and I was a Dallas Cowboy fan as a kid.
Me too.
And bottom line is that was my destiny. Now I get hit by a car. Now you remember, this is 1968. There's no such thing as rehab as we know it today. Now, if you're Joe Namath or Willis Reed or somebody like that, you know, Roger Staubach, they have rehab for top elite athletes who weren't making hardly any money at all back then. Bottom line is they didn't have any rehab. So my doctor, after I get, the operation, I tear my ACL and my part of my kneecap chips off and, my meniscus is blown. He's like, you're done. Like, you'll never play. You can't play football or hockey anymore. And man, I was devastated.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about having the world ripped out from underneath me. And I even got my mom to, because my grandmother was raising me, but my mom was, making sure, we had enough money, to live, and grow up. I bounced around like I was a pinball as a kid, from one family to another. But my grand, from 8 years old, she did her best to try to raise me going through menopause, which had to be really hard on her.
Right.
But she was a saint. She's a saint now. But bottom line is, I begged my mom to take me to meet this guy, Dr. Nicholas. He worked on Willis Reed, who had won the New York Knickerbockers. So they won 2 world championships. He'd worked on Joe Namath, won the Super Bowl. Maybe he can fix my knee. He basically told me I was never going to be a Joe Namath or a Willis Reed, that I need to study and, hit the books because, your combat sports are done. But they let me play basketball, which is probably more wear and tear on the knees than anything, right?
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
Because it wasn't combat. But yeah, it is. The bottom line is I sucked at basketball. This would be the greatest thing to happen to me as a human being, because in 7th grade, I didn't make the team, which I was like, fuck basketball. I don't like it anyway. Well, now that's all I got. 8th grade, I tried for the team, but I sit on the bench. And I ain't ever sat on the bench ever. And so that summer, that's where my whole mind shifted. And I said, that's never happening to me again. This is my new sport. I'm going to learn to play it as good as anybody. Right. And I played anywhere from 5 to 8 hours a day, every day that summer. And I came back that freshman year. We went undefeated. I averaged about 18 points a game. And by the time I was a sophomore, I was starting varsity. And the thing is, I just skimmed through high school because I at the time, I had no idea, but I had ADD and dyslexia. And I was reading at a 3rd grade level at the age of 30, which, it makes life really hard. But again, it forces you to adapt.
Right.
And I learned a lot about listening and repetition, and that's how I would learn things. And, at 30 years old, I made the decision I was going to learn how to read proficiently. At 31, I'd gotten Tony Robbins. Like, I can't read his book, but he had those cassette tapes, and he had like 20 of them. I could listen to them And that would start to be the building of, okay, I'm running nightclubs and I'm having a blast. I'm living a dream, but I still can't read. And someday in my mind, I know I'm going to be an actor. Like, I know it. And you're never going to be an actor if you can't read. So it was something I became very passionate about. And I, little bit, grew a little bit. And then I was out in LA and I think it was 2003 or 4 when I found this place called the Eris Learning Center. And I found some 85-year-old woman who's I taught a friend of mine at the Eris Learning Center. And it improved over a 6-month period. It improved my reading dramatically. I would not say I'm a good reader, but I'm an average reader now. And, some days it's harder than others, but overall I just work it, man. And I read everything.
Man,
and
you
again,
overcome stuff.
Well, you couldn't tell that you were dyslexic or not a good reader by your interviews.
No, not at all.
And your promos that you would do in WCW. But I got to know something. First, I want to say I don't believe in coincidences. So all the things about the sports that you couldn't play and all that is God put that in your path on purpose to get you into the wrestling thing that you ended up, becoming super famous for. And even today, which led you into DDP Yoga, which has inspired people like me. Even though I'm still fat, I still watch some of those videos online, and they inspire me to get off my butt and do something. But one question I gotta ask, I gotta know I've always wanted this since I was a little child. Who is the toughest guy, legitimate tough guy backstage? Like of all the wrestlers that who was actually a real tough man, tough fella to get on a street fight with or something?
Well, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I would say.
There really is. There's a lot of them. But nobody, could touch, like Ming, Tonka, not Tatanka, Ming. Can't remember his name in WCW. He used Ming, and I'm talking about the Samoan.
Yeah, I vaguely remember him.
Yeah.
What about
dude?
UFC?
Him and Barbarian. Again, the Samoan guys. Like Ming is famous. Tonga's his real name, and I'll tell you what. The sweetest human being on the planet, but get out and get somebody getting in his face. Why anybody in their right mind would get in his face? Like maybe he didn't think he was, he was a bad man.
Right.
I mean, 6 guys. Like the stories of him back in the 80s when they were running hard, they're like legendary. And if you meet Tonga, he's just a big teddy bear. Oh, but he's also a killer.
Is he the one that came out with like a skull or something? Tonga or like voodoo?
Yeah. No. He was just he really didn't get past the mid card. He did back in the early days. He did really good with WWE, WWF, and tag teams and stuff. And but you asked me who's the baddest man there, and nobody. Arn Anderson has one story after another, about Tonga. But again, the nicest human being on the planet.
Undertaker said, they asked him, they said, if UFC would have been as popular as it was when you started wrestling, would you have been a UFC fighter? He said yes.
Well, to me personally, and maybe Taker's got a legendary, maybe he's got a lot of wrestling in his life. Maybe he was a good high school or collegiate wrestler or a jiu-jitsu. Maybe he does that. Maybe he has those skills I don't know about. But for me personally, if you do not have the pedigree of a Kurt Angle, or Brock Lesnar, if you don't have a pedigree in wrestling, like top of your field or jiu-jitsu, one or the other, because you can learn to strike. You know, you can learn to go in other forms of mixed martial arts, but everything's based in jiu-jitsu. Like if you watch these guys who are really badass strikers, like Tito was back in the day. His legendary fights were, I can't remember his name.
Tito
right
Ortiz.
Now. Yeah, Tito
and Chuck Liddell.
And Liddell. They both had. If you see these guys who really do stand up, it's because if they go to the ground, one's going to cancel out the other, and so they're just going to go back and forth. Let's fight it out.
Well, Tito was a wrestler as well.
Yeah.
Tito did wrestle,
yes.
but Chuck didn't.
And Chuck, I forgot what. Yeah, but he did something else. He had some sort of. I mean, Chuck was bad. There's a great 30 for 30.
Yeah, I love it.
Right now, did you see it?
Oh yeah, about Chuck.
Yeah, it was great.
I'll have to see that. I have to look for that.
It's about Chuck and Tito.
Yeah, it's their feud.
Yeah, it's an awesome 30 for 30.
They were best friends, man. And what's really interesting is about 12, maybe 13, 14 years ago, I guess it was around 2004 or 5, I see this article. And it's the other way, going the other way. They were asking Tito, did he ever want to, think about being a wrestler? Because Tito loves wrestling. And he's made for wrestling. Just the way he promos, the wanting to be the heel, the whole thing. And he said, yeah, I really wanted to make a move. He said, Diamond Dallas Page talked me out of it. And I popped because this is exactly what happened. He said we were at the Peppermint Rhino in Vegas, and he was a champ then. And I sat down and, talked to him, and, he told me that, do not even think about making a switch right now. I literally said to him, I said, dude, you're on the cusp of something. I just felt UFC was the next thing.
Right.
And we had hit our crazy high, and then we were dropping. And wrestling's cyclical, goes up and down and up and down. Depending on who the people are out there that the people can get behind. And right then I knew, and I didn't know what kind of feud they would do with Liddell or whatever. I just said, you're going to be such money because you're kind of what we do already.
Right.
You like being the bad boy.
Yeah.
You're going to draw like Ali's, and this legendary interview he did. Ali that's who my idol was growing up. So when you say you're UFC or boxing, if you asked me back then, it would be boxing. There was no UFC, but Muhammad Ali, I got to meet him on 3 different occasions. And I got him. He locked up with me. He called it. We have pictures of that and hanging out. But Ali was in Vegas, and Gorgeous George was in the studio before him. And he just heard George talking shit. And he realized then, this pretty black man, who was pretty, and he's going to tell everybody just how pretty he is.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to piss them off as much as he can because he wants to draw money. And he took it from, and it was really cool, man.
Wow.
Actually getting to
that is so
time with him.
cool.
But that's what Tito did.
Yeah.
That's what Tito did. And he said the whole story just like it really happened. And what's fascinating is a lot of people don't remember like the insights or like I tell everybody, without Dusty Rhodes, there is no Diamond Dallas Page. Without Jake Snake Roberts, there's no 3-time world champion. Without the both of those guys in my life, there's no Hall of Fame. But there was because they helped make me. I never forget anybody. But so many other people do.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, let me ask you. Let me ask you this. Like, what is your diet like? Like, do you what are the things that because you look freaking great, man. I mean, you really do. And what do you eat? What?
Well, I'll give you, for starters, I eat real food. And when I say real food, if anybody wants to really understand what real food is, watch a movie called Food Inc. It came out in 2007. It won the Oscar. And it talked about this company, Monsanto.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who were,
Hate them.
now everybody knows who Monsanto is. They were the Antichrist. They were killing the farmers. And when I say killing the farmers, here's these guys who live off the land. And they make just enough to make a good, a decent living for their family. And then these flurries of this new wheat, like looks
GMO.
like bread, tastes
GMO.
like bread, right? I don't eat genetically modified food.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
See, wheat used to be 6-7 feet. No, I think about 5 to 6 feet tall. Today it's 18 inches. But you get 3 times the mass.
Let me tell you,
It's all about the dot.
Yeah.
the only
Go ahead.
the only genetically modified food I will eat is Taco Bell. So
Oh my God!
Yeah.
First of all,
that's not bad, is it, DDP? That's not bad, is it?
Dude, a fake food. If you're going to tell me about fast, you have to give it the real name. Fast, fake food. And
If
I'm talking to
listen,
my-
next time you come to Nashville, would you, if I paid for it, would you go to Taco Bell with me and eat with me? I'll get the fancy dishes. We'll even eat it with
Bro.
real silverware.
I will tell you. This is true. If there was nothing to eat, I would eat nothing before I would eat that disgusting. Like,
What do you
Again,
actually
yes,
eat
but-
like on a daily basis? Do you go out to restaurants at all? Do you ever go to fast food?
yes. But first of all, I know that they're serving real food, meaning that they're not their whole menus not like real food, but probably 50% of it, 40% of it, and I can get around that. Like I love Houston's because they've got a lot of shit that's good food.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't eat anything that's genetically modified. All, again, if you watch Food Inc. and then you watch this other movie called Genetic Roulette. Now,
I haven't heard of that one.
That
I
sounds
really
fun, actually.
do. Genetic roulette.
Yeah.
Sounds like Vegas.
how big are you, big man? How big are you?
I am 300 pounds.
That's not bad.
But let me tell you, when I go to Taco Bell, though, I ask for extra GMO. So that might be why.
And how old are you now? How old are you?
I'm 38.
Enjoy that ride, brother.
But I'm about to
You're
listen.
gonna be
I'm being
crying.
serious right now. This is a serious thing right now. I got your app. And Chris gave me, he said that we're VIP on there now. So I had full intentions.
You are.
I had full intentions. I'm going to be 100% candid of before this interview having a good weekend. Just a good weekend of doing the DDP yoga. I promise you that was my intentions. But fat brains think like fat. It's a mindset, see. I haven't always been fat. I used to actually be in great shape. But now it's like getting the motivation. I listened to this book that talk about motivation being fake, and it's not even real. Like you motivate yourself, and it only lasts a little while. But nonetheless, I want to tell you right now on this show, Chris, DDP,
Yes,
that next week I'm on that DDP yoga app every day, and then I want to check back in
Every day?
every day,
Every day?
every day.
Will you let me guide you then?
100%. I was fixing to say, I'm going to send you a picture of the progress as I go, or a video or whatever.
Well,
But
here's the deal. On that app, all right? The app, anybody's listening, go to ddpy.com or ddpyoga.com, download it. You get it for 7 days for free to try it. You don't like it, get rid of it. The bottom line is, if you work, DDPY works. If you don't work, nothing works.
now, wait,
And-
the app is called DDP Yoga now, right?
Yeah, but if you go to ddpy.com or ddpyoga.com, that's the only place you're going to find it where it's actually, I take off X amount of dollars, because I want people to friggin' get a good deal. I can't do that with iTunes or Google Play because they want their 30%.
Right,
so
I can see.
I can't. Yeah, so I can't do that. But people still go there, Yeah. Hey, hold 1 second. Hold 1 second, boys. This is my deal. Hold on a second.
Okay.
And then the time was now, and I faced the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, for which I'm certain. I go
and see this guy, every week. He's a chiropractor, but this guy's like Yoda. Like, he does applied kinesiology. Like, what he does in fixing your body is like, I can't even explain it to you. It's one of the reasons, it's part of my toolbox of things I do. When he gets working on somebody, like my appointment today was supposed to be at 2:30, but I knew I'd be okay. 3 o'clock, we'd be cool. She just told me he'll be ready around 5.
Listen, I want to do something since we talked about food with you. We have a segment on this show that we call "What Not to Eat," so it'd be a good one to do with you.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So get ready. We about to run this.
Okay, here we go.
Hold on 1 second. You might have eaten a few things in your lifetime. I know Chris and Marty sure have, but these are things they would never eat. This is what not to eat. Yeah, buddy. My first one, or my one for this show is called, now DDP, you listening?
I'm listening.
He's probably tried this. This is called drunken shrimp. Shrimp. What? I can't even speak right now.
Man, you kind of sound like a drunk.
I think I was eating some earlier.
Man.
Drunken shrimp. It's exactly as the name suggests. They take this live shrimp and they make it swim in a strong liquor called Baijiu. And then when diners eat it, they bite the head off first. And then they get, the shrimp are turned. So they don't really know. They're just crunk. So they don't really, they're like partying. But then if they don't chew it up good enough, they said that you can get a worm or something from it if you're not careful.
You bring something back from it, little something extra.
Yeah, there's the picture right there. Actually,
oh my God,
those shrimp are having a good time right there.
Ooh, man, you gonna try a little bit of that DDP?
No.
He's already had
he's
it.
out. He's out.
The shrimp. First of all, you're telling me you're swimming around in booze,
in vodka,
and then you're eating it raw, and you're wondering why there might be some pesticides in it. Wondering?
I know. Well, I'm not wondering because I ain't eating it.
No.
Chris, what's yours?
Okay, so I looked around the old interwebs, and I come up with Virgin Boy eggs.
Ugh.
They're from Dongyang, Xinjiang, China.
The first name fits it perfectly.
And you have to say it, Virgin Boy eggs. Just like that. And what they are eggs that are boiled in the urine of young boys.
Oh, stop.
No, this is true.
This is nasty.
Preferably under the age of 10. This is a delicacy now. They're named Tongxing Dan. And the dish translates literally to boy egg. and is a springtime tradition of the city where the urine is collected from peasant boys.
This is worse than I thought. I thought it was just a nickname for it.
No.
It actually is exactly what they're talking about. That's not it up there that he has up there.
No.
Because that's
No,
what
that is not it, what he has up there. But, yeah, so it soaks in young boy urine.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
That's something.
That's brutal.
Man, I remember my mama used to make virgin boy eggs when we was kids. Oh, my God. She made the best virgin boy eggs. Oh,
What
man.
boy's urine does she use?
Man.
Yours.
Okay,
let's get off that.
let's
DDP's about
move
to throw
on.
up.
Yeah.
But what is the craziest thing you've ever eaten, though? Just, before the dieting and being strict, what was the craziest thing that you ate besides GMOs?
God, I don't know. I've always had a pretty good handle on real food.
Oh, really? You
think
never.
No, I would eat shit. I mean, I'd eat White Castle hamburgers. That's not food. That's.
But you never.
32. I ate 32 White Castle hamburgers one day at the bar.
Good Lord.
Man, I'm with you on those now.
Ooh, man.
I can do that too if for lunch, breakfast, and dinner.
Man, I eat them so fast they come out with a box still in them. But, it's still got the box on the side of them.
That's special.
Yeah.
Branded poop. So DDP, you never experienced and did any kind of crazy foods or nothing while you were traveling? Like you never.
Yeah, but nothing that I think about. Like, wow, that's pretty exotic.
I got
nothing
you.
Really.
Nothing crazy. I don't blame you.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I know one thing I would never do again after I was toured through Singapore, because, I was still believed in, buffets. The buffets are good. I got food poisoning so bad
Oh,
that I
no.
was 4 days in bed.
Oh.
Like, the doctor had to come and give me 2 shots in my ass. Just for whatever. I don't even know what he put in me for penicillin, or I don't know what the hell it was. But man, I could not. It was like an alien was coming out of my stomach.
Did you get any virgin boy eggs or anything like that on the
No,
buffet?
Was it weird eggs? Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Man.
Are you still acting?
I have a new show that's actually I am the lead for. It's called Gods and Secrets. It's a very dark superhero. We really made it for YouTube, and this guy Adi Shankar, who's done a bunch of films, but he also did that show Castlevania for Netflix.
Okay.
He did. In the middle of when as soon as they saw Castlevania, they were like, "What else do you have?" And it was something that me and Adi were working on, and that's where it started taking. Oh my God, people might actually see this.
What is it about? Briefly.
I can only say that it's a very dark, alternate universe thing, and it's something that you've never seen before.
I like that.
In the mixture, like if you're a fanboy and you like that, you're gonna dig it. If you're a gamer, and gamers control the world right now. When it comes to video games, but everything's set in 1987 in this alternate world. And again, it was started out going to be just these little YouTube video clips, these shorts, and then it grew, and man, it's so fucking cool.
Man, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, you gotta like this type of deal, and it's got some swerves in it that make you go, "What?"
Yeah.
So,
let Chris know if you need any
excited.
music for it.
Well, that's what they're doing right now.
Oh,
That's
cool,
what they're laying down. Hey, Chris, let me ask: have you told Marty about the time we went shooting?
Man. No, I did. I told him about how you brought the tree down with my.
Oh my!
With a 9.
We were. for people who weren't there, and Marty's probably heard it. We had everything. We had every gun known to man out there, and we were just shooting into the forest. Actually, thank God there was nobody walking back there.
Yeah.
But there was this one tree, this thin tree, and it became like the object to try to get this tree down. And at the end, like, we threw everything at it.
And I had I just bought this little 9mm, just a little bitty thing. He said, "Let me see that." One hit, bam, and it just.
He diamond cutted the tree.
He diamond cutted the tree.
DDP, go ahead.
Well, wait a minute. Tell me if I'm wrong, because it's like we won the Super Bowl, though.
Oh, I just put the camera down.
Right, the camera. Ira Dean lost his mind. I lost my mind. Dude, we were going crazy. We filmed everything.
Man, that was the same week that you had the DDP DVD set come out. Is that correct?
Right.
That was the same week that it blew up.
No, that was the week that the disabled veterans video.
That's what it was.
Viral.
That's what it was.
That's the one I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the real deal is the guy's 5'6", 297 pounds. He couldn't walk without the aid of knee braces, back brace, or the canes that he was walking with. And over a 10-month period, and I talked to him every couple of weeks, and literally talked to him. I only worked out with him once, but he just followed the program.
Yeah.
You know, he lost 140 pounds, but more importantly, he lost the knee braces, back brace, and canes, not just to walk, but run.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what had happened, like, remember the movie I was starting to tell you about? Our next documentary is called Relentless.
Right.
And it's from me blowing my back out, because Kevin Nash had given me a power bomb. And it was like it was the straw that broke the camel's back. It wasn't Kev hit me with a power bomb. It was, that last one, and then my back said, "Okay, uncle."
Yeah.
And, I was done. But it starts there, and it ends where we are today. Because we have 20-plus years of footage that we've been following this whole thing. And the thing that happens with Arthur is a guy who's working for, he's one of my partners, but he's in charge of distribution. The day my business partner, Steve Yu, who's the director of the resurrection of Jake the Snake, every great video that you've ever seen come out of our company, Steve is responsible for it. Like, I'm responsible for creating the transformation. He's responsible for really telling the story,
right,
and hitting people where it's emotional. And he had told me that he was going to redo this Arthur video, because that came out in 2012. I did the transformation with Arthur in 2007. So it was by 2008, me and his son had created one, but it wasn't what Steve created. And I had no idea what viral meant. And right before it went crazy, and again, we have no idea this is going to happen, one of my business partners is deciding to sell our DVD sets on eBay for half price and no shipping. And
while it was going on, yeah.
But this is before it happened.
Oh, before it happened.
This is the day. This is 3 days before it blew up. Now think about this. We talk about God's work before, and how God puts us in a certain path, and at the day before, 2 days before it went viral, and today everybody knows what viral means. But back then, I had no fucking idea what viral meant. And what happened was, one of my business partners, Robert, and Steve called me and said, "I think we have a problem." And I'm like, what's the problem? I'm just moving out of LA. I've just backed up my shit. I don't even know where I'm going yet because I'd short sold my house. I wasn't in the greatest financial spot at the time because I'd put everything into this.
Right.
Everything, like over $548,000. And I was just traveling and staying with different. I wasn't homeless, but I always had a place to go. But I didn't have a home right then. I didn't have like one station where I would call it my home. And they both tell me that this guy, and I never used his name in the documentary because he's got kids and I don't want that. I don't want that out there. But he'll know, and I'll tell him right before it comes out. Like everybody else is like, no, let's not put his name in there. I go, no, we don't. No, believe me, he knows he fucked up, and he was just trying to feed his family anyway. But he did it the wrong way. And bottom line is, I got to go down there and get all the DVDs because I find out he's doing this shit. He's in Vegas at the time. I go down, I load everything up. I'm about to go on the road for 12 days. And I'm starting in Nashville. and so I go down to South, LA, load up all the stuff, pack it all up, get on a plane, and take off. I'm getting ready the next morning to take off for Vegas. I'm not Vegas, for Nashville. And my buddy Steve calls me up and he goes, bro, we're on the front page of Reddit. I'm like, what's that mean? He goes, Reddit. He goes, I don't know. He goes, it's some big internet site or whatever. He goes, we got a lot of traffic on the site right now. I'm like, awesome. Great. Right. I got to go, man. I got to crash. He's up all night during this. I wake up in the morning and I see all my freaking texts. We're going viral. I don't even know what viral means. I get to the airport in LA and I'm at TSA and he copies a tweet and he sends it to me. It says, stop what you're doing right now and witness real magic. David Copperfield.
Wow.
Top race.
Right.
Man.
And then I hop on the plane. When I get off, he sends me another one. This one says, want to see what happened? You want to get inspired? When you see someone do something that's amazing, watch this video. Starts off slow, ends strong. Tony Robbins. Wow. So now we're still like, got to remember, I just sent these videos to Florida, these DVDs that we have to Florida, like ground from LA. And there's one thing that amazed, like I've done a lot of research on companies, and when you advertise, and this wasn't advertising, this was when we made this video, and Steve sent it to me. And anybody who wants to see this video, just go to ddpy.com, go to the bottom, and you'll see Arthur, disabled veteran Arthur Borman. And you watch this video, and it can really change your life.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And so Steve sends me the video. And when I look at it, I mean, I think it's amazing. But I go, bro, you never mentioned DDP Yoga in it. He said, well, I read this book on trying to get something to go viral, and they said, if you try and advertise, it won't go viral. Your chances get way cut down. So he said, here's our choices. We can do a commercial and put it out there and see what happens. He said, or we can inspire people. He said, what do you want to do? I said, let's inspire people. So then I watch it again, and I realized that he calls me a yogi. And I'm like the anti-yogi. Like I appreciate yoga, but it's not what I do. What I'm doing is something different.
Yeah.
And I say, Steve, you call me a yogi, bro. I don't. That's the last thing I want. And he said, do you know how many yoga Facebook walls this will get put on? I don't really even understand Facebook then. So I go, no, I really don't. And he's like, he goes, will you trust me on this one? I said, all right. So now, because of this thing taking off, and we do maybe 10 orders in a week, you know, maybe we might do 20,
Right.
you know, at that time. Now we're doing 10 orders an hour.
Nice.
Man,
Then it goes to
That's special.
20. And I'm at Ira's place,
yeah.
and I'm
We're all
sitting there
hanging out.
watching this. Right, Chris is there, I'm there, and I'm going like, and right, Chris, wasn't I getting sick to my stomach?
Oh,
Even though it's
you
so
were losing
amazing.
it, and you were on the phone. You were pacing. We were, and we were. Me and Ira were talking. Ira Dean, Trick Pony's a good mutual friend of ours, and just, I mean, I was like, he is blowing up. He goes, I know, man. And it was just so crazy.
Listen,
But the reason why I
DDP.
was going crazy, the reason why I was going crazy was because I had heard that if you push your company out there and you create the demand and you can't back it up,
Right.
it will blow up in your face.
Yeah.
So
Right.
this wasn't an ad. This was something to inspire people. They were still finding us, though. So, but dude, we did like $20,000 that day.
That's
Like
nice.
that's what we did a month. That's what we did a month.
Well, let me
And
tell
then
you,
it went.
you
to the moon.
inspire me. That's for sure.
Oh man, and you know what? You help people, and that's amazing. You know, of all the stuff
Yeah.
that you've done and you've accomplished in your life, you still reach out and help people, and that means a lot.
We don't want to keep you forever, and but we do end the show with we want to do one thing, and then we'll let you get off here and get to your doctor's appointment or whatever in 2 hours now at this point. But it's a thing we do called an unbelievable fact, and we just end the show with that, and we're gonna do
Sure.
that. Do what?
Sure.
All right, right on. Here we go. You might think it's not true, but I assure you that it is. It's hard to believe it's an unbelievable fact. The unbelievable fact for this show is can openers were invented 48 years after cans were invented. You used to just can stuff for good before that, I guess. I don't know.
Wow, that's so. Can openers 48 years after?
After
Wow.
the can was invented.
I'd buy it.
Wow.
I'd buy that because they just used a knife.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the unbelievable fact. DDP, thank you so much for being you.
Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for giving us your time today. And it's been a pleasure and a joy and an honor to talk to you. I promise
Amen.
All right, boys. It's been your pleasure.
you that. God bless you, DDP.
I'm going back.
Thank y'all so much for listening to the Marty Ray Project Chats. And a big thank you to Rhodes for supplying the sound with Rodecaster Pro. Whether you like what you heard or hated what you heard, subscribe and rate us anyway. Let us have it.
You know, it was an awesome day having DDP on.
Oh my gosh, man, that guy's such a class act.
He really is. We're going to have his screenshot up there, this whole video. It's just going to live there, the frozen spot.
Just stay there. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, DDP. God bless you.
God bless you.